Hello, everybody, and welcome to ORL. This is their B Division or Tier 2. We are on track for qualifying here at Abu Dhabi, and it is it's the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. It's 50% duration. They've got to use two different tyre lengths. But this week, instead of being on my own, I do have someone along for the ride. Welcome along, Ollie. Ollie, thank you so much for joining me on this one for the remainder of the season. It's going to be a good one. But yeah, good luck for you and me, I think.
Yeah, thanks, Gareth, and thank you everyone for having me tonight. Really looking forward to this race. Abu Dhabi, the Yas Marina circuit is one of my favourites on the calendar, especially with the new corners they've introduced over the last season or two. So yeah, really looking forward to this. Good lineup of drivers, 19 drivers for today's race. So Gareth, yeah, strapped in and ready to go.
Right, let's get back. Let's get straight on to the action for this, and let's have a look at Alberto Barros as he comes through the section. I think it's just going on to. Oh, hello, that wasn't meant to happen. Going through this new adjusted part of the track at turn 9, where it is just a nice slingshot around now, isn't it? It's none of this kinky bits, and it's just nice and smooth.
Yeah, well, obviously Gareth used to be, it was very difficult to go side by side through that area of the circuit. We maybe saw it once or twice in league racing, but now it's very easy to hang it around the outside and potentially duel it away coming into 10, 11 and 12, which obviously a little bit more single file through that section of the Grand Prix. But yeah, great addition to 9. It's also banked as well slightly, so it sort of reminds me of Zandvoort a little bit, Gareth, the final corner there. But yeah, no, that's a great overtaking opportunity as well. Obviously, DRS zone going down towards turn 9, so that'll be one of the, you could argue, two of the main overtaking opportunities at the circuit.
Yeah, it's definitely opened this track up a little bit more for some overtaking, especially into turn 5 now as well. Instead of that little chicane bit, we've got another nice little hairpin smooth sector. Obviously, for those of you who can't remember, back in 2001, that's where Max Verstappen won the World Championship. But enough about that. Let's see what Alberto Barros can do as he heads into turn 6 and 7. You've got to make sure it's nice, tight and steady through here, because it is still a chicane, and it's the one place, I think, at this circuit that you can lose an awful amount of time. Yeah,
and he did. I think he lost a couple of tenths there, Gareth. Went a little bit too deep into 6, but luckily he's nailed 9 there coming through. Like you've already mentioned, his long left-hander before you get into the tighter 10, 11 and 12 section of the Grand Prix, where, Gareth, I think we go back further enough. That's where Rosberg crashed and almost flew over the barrier, if I remember correctly, many, many years ago. But under the hotel, he goes around 14, 15 and 16, usually single file through here. But if they're dueling at the final lap, I'm sure they'll try to go side by side. But clips the curb on the inside line there, and he comes towards the line to do a 24.3. So a little bit more time to find for Alberto there, down in 8th place. First, currently, Varga with a 23.3. So a little more time to find for the Williams driver.
Just a little bit, but Lethal Sniper, his teammate, immediately putting it as a 1-2 for the Alfa Romeos. And in the championship standings, the Alfa Romeos are doing incredibly here at the ORL division in the B side of things. But Lewis Piper and Net Cruz, two Scotsmen, holding out that second row of the grid at the moment, but a fair whack of time for them off of the front runners at the moment. I don't think Christian Sendel has been able to set a lap time. He is invalidated somewhere. I wonder if he's going to be going to do anything this time around. Asking, let's have a look at him as he heads through this final sector. The Red Bull driver, he's trying his best to just keep attached to the track as best as possible. He is harvesting through that last corner, which might not have helped at all, but across the line it's P4 for the time being for Christian Sendel.
Yeah, good lap from Christian there, bumps him up to 4th place, just over 3 tenths behind our current qualifying leader. I think he'll like to improve on that lap, but maybe a new set of tyres before he does that, Gareth. But we've lost Eduardo at the start of the session. Don't know whether he's maybe got a quali ban or made a mistake on circuit, but we will only have 18 drivers setting lap times here for qualifying. Yellow flagging sector 3. I think that might be just some slow cars getting out of the way of each other. But quick times already, Gareth. We'll see whether we can maybe even get into the 22s here.
Yeah, let's keep an eye on this one. I think it's possible, especially at this time in qualifying as well. Let's go on board with Andreas Loff, as he had a pretty good race last time out at Australia as well. But this time the Mercedes driver is going to be... well, he has yet to set a lap time. We've got Dmitry Pantalev as well in 15th, who's deciding to get a little bit of track practice on with those medium compound tyres to start with. So interesting to see there. Obviously, deciding to put the pressure on himself towards the end of this Grand Prix, this qualifying.
Yeah, it could be also a case, Gareth, he's just wanting to get a banker lap on those medium tyres and then jump on a set of softs. So he knows he can definitely beat the time. We have seen that in the past from other drivers. But I think, Gareth, we need to concentrate on Andreas Loff here. Quickest in the first and middle sector, if you're believing the mini map on the screen, flies through turn 12. There under the hotel he goes, and this could be a great lap from the Mercedes driver here. If he can continue this pace he's had in this lap.
Yeah, it's looking nice and solid at the moment for Andreas Loff, trying to keep on the curbs as best as possible. There's no rear end wiggle there, and across the line it's P2, agonisingly close to Varga Botan there, but Andreas Loff with an incredible lap time puts him P2 for the time being.
Yeah, 4 thousandths behind Varga Botan. Hopefully I'm getting these names right, Gareth. But great lap from Andreas there, and hopefully he can charge down and try and maybe potentially beat him here in this qualifying session. Still plenty of time, still we're only halfway through quali session, 18 minutes, so plenty more time for Andreas to improve in his lap time, as can everyone else on the grid. Still waiting for lap times from Robbie and Goji down in 18th and 19th place, the AlphaTauri and Haasman down there. But yeah, plenty more time to gain. And Gareth, as the qualifying session goes on, they'll get more confident, the track will get more grippy, they'll be used to the cars, the weight and everything. So I think these lap times will, like we've already mentioned, will come down 10th by 10th as we progress through this qualifying session.
Lewis Piper's just about to start a lap time, but let's go on board with the Ferrari driver who's just a little bit further up the road than him. I think it's Unai Vega. I'm going to call him that anyway. The Ferrari driver then into the chicane of 6 and 7. He's got to make sure it's nice and tight. It's looking like he's caught a little bit of the sausage part of the curb, and his back end has stepped out massively through 8, which won't have helped his lap time. And I think, again, his car is harvesting there, but cars are getting out of his way. So I think he's just going to try and get a lap time in, because currently set as a 1:24.5. He probably wants a little bit quicker than that right now.
Yeah, I think on my screen, Gareth, it's an invalid lap time, so I don't know whether he'll... he's always going to have to go again. I'm not sure whether maybe that's just my screen, I don't know, but yeah, still time to find, currently over a second behind our pole sitter, so still time to find for Unai here, down in 16th place, but he's the only Ferrari man on circuit. Of course, unfortunately, Eduardo not doing the qualifying session, but in the pits he goes. I think a new set of tyres, Gareth, and then he'll have a chance for 1 or 2 more laps here in Abu Dhabi.
Let's go on board with K-Ray G then, the Aston Martin driver, as he goes for it. Hopefully he's on a lap time this time around, as he enters 15 and 16, trying to be as smooth as possible. It's looking quite good for him at the moment, but we will keep an eye. Oh, he's pulled out of his lap, I think, unfortunately, on that as well. So, Christian Sendel, are you going to do a lap for me?
Hopefully, Gareth. That's maybe the commentator's curse strikes early in this race.
Definitely, it does feel like it, but it's looking really quite strong from him at the moment. Through that first corner into 5, down this back straight he goes, or one of the back straights you could say, goes Christian Sendel. He's now been pushed down to P7 because of Tamas's time. The current championship leader, don't forget, is Tamas. Into now the chicane goes Christian Sendel, and Lethal Sniper then does go into the 122s with a 122.976. So at the moment he is leading the way, with his teammate is on a lap time, but Christian Sendel is also trying to beat that lap time as well, and hopefully for him he will have a really good solid lap time through it all.
Yeah, hopefully. But that's a great lap time from Lethal Sniper there. Get us into the 22s. We'd hope we'd dip into it, and we definitely have. So that is the bar that has been set by the Alfa Romeo driver, but we'll stay on board with Christian here. Hopefully there's an improvement on his lap time here. Straight lines the final corner, try and get as much time as he can, and flies through 22.4, Gareth. Over half a second quicker in second place. That's a phenomenal lap time.
Great lap time from him. Varga wasn't able to beat that lap time either. Andreas Loff does not manage to, I think he's just starting a lap time, so probably a bit harsh of me to go on board with him there. Here comes Robbie Van, yet to set a lap time. He finally does. It's a 23.9, putting him P12 for the time being. So still some time to find for him, but there is still 5 minutes left of this qualifying session remaining, so he could probably get another lap time in.
Yeah, I think maybe we jumped the gun, Gareth, thinking that's the bar set now. It's not going to be improved, but I'm sure the drivers will take that as a challenge with that 22.4 lap time by Christian Sandel in first place currently. So plenty more time to find. I'm sure they'll be pushing the boundaries as much as they can in this qualifying session. I'm sure they're adjusting the setup slightly if they can as well in this session before we get racing in about 5-10 minutes time. So again, still plenty more action to come here, and it'll be interesting to see whether anyone can beat that lap time, because that is quite a jump between first and second at the moment.
Yeah, it's a cracking lap time from Christian Sandel, and on board with Andreas Loft as he comes through this final sector now, and a big back end swipe there. Managed to save it, but it's going to cost him a lot of time. His teammate Augustin has put himself into P5 for the time being, and Andreas decides that that is enough, and he has to go into the pits to get a fresh set of tyres on. I think let's go on board with Hassif. Is that... yeah, that one. Let's go with that one. And Hassif is now coming through that long full throttle turn 9, and it seems like it's all nice and dandy for him at the moment, but let's see if he can improve on that current 10th place position that he has.
Yeah, if you are to believe the mini-map, Gareth, quickest in that middle sector, comes round the final two corners here, 15 and 16, clips the bollard on the inside line and straight lines the last bit, and up to P3 with a 23.2 for Hassif there in the Alpine. His teammate quite a way down in 16th. Christian, I'm not sure I can pronounce that second name, Gareth, of 16th place Christian. I'll try my best at one point in this race, but Hassif, great lap time from him, up into P3 like I've mentioned, and yeah, still a little bit way off, 8/10 off pole, but again, there's still plenty more time in the session to improve on these lap times.
Yeah, Christian Lubinov, maybe?
Lubinov, yeah.
Yeah, Alpine driver. Then his teammate setting the world alight. Christian Sendel has retired from the session. He does not think he's going to get beaten at all. Lethal Sniper out on a lap again, and retired from the session on track is Lubinov. That is an interesting one for him there. So maybe we've got someone else we can go on board with. But that's a very, very interesting decision from the Alpine driver. K-Ray G possibly on a lap time, or is it going to be Tamas? I think it's going to be K-Ray G who's going to be setting a lap time next. So let's go on board with the Alpine Aston Martin driver, who pulls over to let the Red Bull drivers through. So he's not happy with things at the moment.
Yeah, it could have been a slight slide coming through turn 1 and turn 2, Gareth. There is an elevation change there, and if too much air gets underneath the car, they tap the curb slightly. That can put off the car, and we've seen a few mistakes through there in the past, so that could have been what happened to K-Ray there coming through that section of the circuit. But again, got enough time, I think, to go around one more. 1 minute, well, just shy of 2 minutes left of the session. But Tomas on a lap time coming into the chicane here for his I think second flying lap here. He's got a few cars ahead of him. We might be able to slip the slipstream here from a few of them here, but I think they've all got out of the way, and annoyingly for him. But down the second straight, or third straight, you could argue, here at Abu Dhabi, and quickest in that middle sector as well. So that middle sector has been improved lap by lap, Gareth, by these drivers. Yeah,
they've all got to make sure they, improve somewhere, and if they're all doing it in that middle sector, and it looked like the back end on Tamas on the exit of turn 12 there has cost him big time, and he's pulled out of his lap time, and he's going to go and try again. Let's go on board then with Lethal Sniper as he comes down the second of the long straights here through into turn 9. He's going to be desperate to hold it nice and tight, and he does, just clipping the apex where he needs to. and then onto the exit curve. That's pretty good going for the Alfa Romeo driver. Can he beat the 122.4 set by Christian Sendel? And if he does, it's going to be one hell of a lap time for the Alfa Romeo driver. Through turn 14, he goes into 15. Can he keep the pressure on? It is full throttle for Sniper as he hurtles his way down the start-finish line. It's only a 122.7 though for him.
Yeah, 2 tenths quicker, well, 2.5 tenths quicker by the Alfa Romeo, but again, not close enough to take first place here. Is he going to go for another lap? It looks like he's slowed down, so we'll have to keep an eye on him. Be one of the last drivers to do a lap time here at the Marina circuit. But yeah, at the moment, no one is just touching Christian Sindel. He's miles ahead, Gareth, of everybody else. But racing, especially online racing, as well as I do, anything can happen.
And it very, very much does here. So we will continue on board. It's Victor Santana then as he comes through the final corner, collecting the bollard as he does so. It's P4 for the Red Bull driver. One first and fourth at the moment is who could we go on board with next? Batond maybe as he comes through this back straight. I wonder if that's going to be... Yeah, he looks like he's going to get help from his teammate as they come down this second straight. Is it going to be enough though? Baton flies past him through into turn 9. A good little bit of strategy from the Alfa Romeo boys.
Yeah, it is, and using that tactic, especially this circuit, Gareth, is going to help them in this qualifying session, and it looks like it's helped him so far. But again, he's got to finish off the lap, the tricky last sector to try and nail here. But not sure if anyone else is going to cross the line here to try and improve on their lap times. Both the Alphas are going through. Potentially Varga can improve on that lap time. He crosses the line. He does, up into P4.
Augustine going massively wide at the last corner. Not ideal for him, but Varga does improve. Here come Netcruise then. What can he do as he comes through for the final time? Tamas does make himself into P3 out of all the confusion from that, but it's exactly the same lap time as Varga Baton. So that, that is interesting there. I wonder if we're going to get the same glitch as we had like 3 or 4 games ago when the cars just dolloped on top of each other. But Netcruise puts himself P8. It's a relatively good lap time for him, and he will want he will want his consistency that has got him points all season long to continue here in the race. But that is qualifying over and done, Ollie, and we've got a grid for the race. And what we've seen so far, who do you think is it the man to beat? That's currently Christian Sendel.
Yeah, I'd argue that Gareth. He's 3 tenths ahead of everybody else. I think it could potentially be between the top 2 compared to everybody else. But again, race is a very different story to the to qualifying, Gareth. You know, anything can happen. Safety cars, probably not rain, but you know, anything can happen.
Definitely. It is Christian Sendel on pole position with Lethal Sniper alongside him. Tamas and Botond are the second row of the grid. The third row of the grid is Hasif and Santana. Andreas Loff and Netcruise are the fourth row of the grid. The fifth row of the grid is Augustin and K-Ray G. Then the rest of the grid is there and done and gone. It's an interesting one. There's not much time for these guys now. They've got their setup. They have to work with what they've got. It's not likely to rain. It doesn't look like it's going to rain. We've experienced rain at Abu Dhabi in the past, but it's highly unlikely it's going to happen here as things stand. What now do these guys have? They've got a lot of pressure on because they know that it's only one strategy they're doing.
Yeah. You know, when obviously when the strategy is already set, Gareth, they've just got to think about the race and how they negotiate that. I think that's obviously the most important thing, especially at the start of the race as well, when it's all hectic, cars are going left, right, and centre. Just got to keep that kind of straight line and hopefully try not to lose any positions.
And quick one, who's going to win this one?
Our pole sitter, Sen.
Let's get onto the track then. The timer has gone to 0. We are going to be racing here at OOL very, very shortly. Here we go. 3, 4, 5 red lights for these guys, and it's away we go. Surely it's a poor start there from Tamas and Sniper, and I think that's cost them big time as they come into turn 1 around the outside, and I think there might have been a little bit of a lag spike, and that's why through that, Hasif trying to make moves early doors as well. But it's all kind of pedestrian, I think, is the best way.
Yeah, the top 7 not moving anywhere from where they started, but further back, plenty of positional changes. That's 2 cars around, and that's our race leader, and I believe potentially our who was that? One of the Alphas making a mistake as well, Gareth. But already controversy at the start of this race.
I think it was Sniper and Sendel who got themselves together. I said it was pedestrian. It's not pedestrian now, and there's big contact between the Alfa Aston Martins and a Haas there, and everyone has just decided it's a destruction derby. And what a crazy start to this race. I was not expecting that at all.
No, it seems to be NASCAR instead of F1, Gareth, but hopefully the drivers keep their noses clean now. But into turn 9, Robin and Vega are fighting away, and there's another spin, it looks like, from the Mercedes. Augustin has made a mistake coming out of 9, Gareth, so it's all frantic at the start of this Grand Prix. It's gone from a PG film to an 18 within a matter of seconds.
And Tamas dropping down the order a little bit. He was attacking Hassif, but Botond got past him, and then all of a sudden into the pits. Then for Tamas, he must have damage on that McLaren, and he is in the pits. There's a end plate missing there. Let's go on board with some action that is coming our way, and that's Fedor Bolkin as he's managing to hold back Robbie Van, who's deciding to go on the medium start for this one. Lewis Piper's decided to retire from the race. He's having a little bit of issues. I think he was caught up with some of them. But safety cars aren't unusual here at Abu Dhabi, so it could have been a little bit pulling the trigger a bit too early on his side.
Yeah, sometimes drivers feel frustrated after things that happen, and sometimes rightly so, depending on situation. But obviously, don't want to judge anything. Leave up to the stewards at the after the race. But yeah, disappointing to see Lewis retiring so early. But still, plenty of racing to come, Gareth. That top group is still so close together. And we've seen a bit more action between Feder and Robbie fighting away down in P8 and P9, and the Aston Martin of Kirei G trying to get involved as well, coming up to turn 9.
Yeah, look at even on the harder compound tyres, he's hounding Robbie Van around the outside. Surely not, but Lethal Sniper's trying to get involved in this as well, and he's trying his uttermost to make up for the mistake of turn 5 with him and Christian Sendel. We're not 100% sure what happened between the two of them, but there was contact, and they're now in 10th and 11th. And that is not where they would have wanted to have been at the start of this Grand Prix. There is a break in the chain, and that is Necruz in P5. He's 1.1 seconds behind Andreas Loff. So DRS being enabled this lap, he could find himself under increasing pressure from the Ferrari behind.
Yeah, Necruz, bit of trouble. Luckily for him, Unai Vega is almost a second behind him, so he should be okay on this lap. But he needs to close that gap down now. I'm sure he's hoping the top 4 battle away. He can join that train and trying to get away from the other guys behind. But this could be really where the overtaking happens, Gareth, coming down towards turn 9. Maybe not so much into the hairpin. I say that though, Hassett trying to have a look down the inside of our race leader in Varga Patond there, but not close enough. But maybe into turn 9 here.
Yeah, let's have a look at Hassif. There is a move behind that Sniper getting past K-Ray-G. But here comes Hassif. Has he got enough pace in the Alpine? He does not. He has to stay behind through turn 9. And there's more overtaking with Fedor being overtaken by Robbie Van as well. These guys slowly pulling away a bit more and a bit more from Necruz, who's pulled away from Vega as well in P6. Christian Sendel getting past K-Ray-G. But I think K-Ray-G has had a spin.
Yeah, Gareth letting up the tyres on the exit of turn 9 there. Maybe a wheel on the curb on the outside, and he's round down in 15th place now. I thought there could have been contact there between himself and Christian, but luckily there wasn't. So unfortunately for Kirei, 15th, and everyone else moves up a place.
Yeah, this is... well, I know Varga Botond, Hassif, Victor Santana and Andreas Loff will want to just keep on pulling away, because the pace that Sendel and Sniper both had in qualifying won't be long before they get back attacking at these guys. On the subject of that, so let's have a look at Lethal Sniper and see if he does anything into turn 5. He doesn't, but he is being attacked from behind. Tamas, fastest man on the track, but he's a little lonely 18th place right now. But here comes Sniper. Can he do anything about the AlphaTauri ahead? The AlphaTauri closes his DRS on the straight. Is that kind of to allow Sniper through, or is he trying to play mind games with the Alfa Romeo?
Yeah, I was just thinking that. He goes around the outside to the chicane there. Really unusual move from him. But in the background, Christian also gets by him behind as well. So he's lost 2 places in a matter of seconds. Up ahead, Robbie gets past Unai there to take P6. But really unusual from Fedor there. And I'm trying to figure out why he did that maybe, Gareth. Maybe different. I'm trying to think of the tyres. Maybe, no, they're all on the same strategy. So, yeah, really unusual that. Maybe their mates and just want to let him through.
Very, very strong stuff from Sniper. Really pushing Unai into mistakes through under the hotel. And he's desperate to get past this Ferrari driver, but it's just not happening at the moment. He knows he has to get past soon because his ET8 teammate, Christian Sendel, is absolutely flying and all over the back of him. But at the moment, there is just no opportunity. Robbie Van is pulling away a little bit from it as well as we stay on board as he comes through this little bit of a sweep of a turn 3 into turn 4 and then 5. Will he make a darting move up the inside? He thinks better of it, so does Christian Sendel. But surely not. Actually, he has gone up the inside of Robbie Van. And not Robbie Van, sorry, Unai. And this is going to get interesting because Christian Sendel is all over the back of that Ferrari as well. Could we see 3 wide? I don't think we are. But Sniper has to defend from that Red Bull as well.
Yeah, the Red Bull flies on through and the Ferrari didn't have DRS out, so he's a sitting duck coming into turn number 6 there. Now it's Lethal Cypher and Christian Sendel's to chase down Robbie, who's ran away with it a little bit. Look at Sendel here. Around the outside he goes. Can he get revenge on the incident earlier on? Around the outside he goes through 9. I don't think he's got the grip on the outside there, and you have to stay behind the Alfa Romeo coming into 10 and 11 here. But these guys are cutting through the field like there's no tomorrow. Yellow flag in sector 3. I think that could be one of the we got a full course yellow, and there's a safety car. It is a safety car for, was that maybe Dimitri maybe or Christian? I'm not sure. Down at the bottom, 16th, 17th maybe. I
think it was Alberto Barros because he has no front wing. And Robbie Van into the pit lane. A free pit stop really for him because he can get onto a set of hards. And it looks like K-Ray G is coming into the pits and Goji as well. A fair few drivers doing the pit lane. K-Ray G picking up a 3-second time penalty for his troubles as well. But didn't get a chance to mention, but Botond was actually pulling away from Hassif before that and outside of the DRS. But now he's got all that work to do again. And that is not ideal for him. An interesting first 6 laps here in ORL at Abu Dhabi, I think is the best way to describe it, Ollie.
I think the stewards might be a bit busy after the lap 1 instance, but yeah, it's been a hectic start to this race, and hopefully, it continues with the action as we progress through the race. But in all that, Gareth, Kirei G, got a 2-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Or was it a pit lane issue, or was it a?
I'm not 100% sure. I saw the penalty pop up, but it was 3 seconds, so it's an odd one.
I think he may have cut the entry of the pit lane, maybe, or I'm not sure. But the Williams boys, they were double stacked, Gareth. So Dimitri's lost a place to Tamas in all that as well. But it'd be interesting now. Obviously, we've had a few pit stops here already. What do the top guys do who were almost running away with it, Gareth? Let's have a quick look at the pit stops. Here, stop. So the top 11 haven't pitted in all this. Well, so that's everyone else can go. It's a long way to go, Gareth. Obviously, we don't know what's going to happen, but if these guys can stay with 12th down, can stay, relatively close to the guys ahead, go into the last stages, they could be in a great position here, but we just don't know. But one of the main protagonists in this race, Gareth, Christian Sendel, into the pits.
Yeah, interesting call from Christian Sendel there. I will definitely be keeping an eye out. I'm sure he's going to have to make a second pit stop in this race as things stand. But last week we did have 2 safety cars, so maybe he's pushing for another safety car, unless he's doing what other drivers have done and thrown themselves back onto a set of hards. I mean, Tamas had the option of keeping up, getting back up to the grid, but he decided to go onto a set of hards for this, and the hards he started on, and now he's got a chance of getting some points and being back within the hunt for some big points as well if things go his way, because the drivers ahead will have to pit the top 10 now, and he's got probably to the end with what he's got.
Exactly. Yeah, we've seen the strategy happen a few times. Gareth sort of double pit stop under the safety car to use the required tyre and jump back on the longer tyre. So be interested to see how Tomas does as we progress through this race. Long way to go still. Only lap 7 of 29 here in Abu Dhabi, but whether Christian does that as well, we'll have to wait and see. Just caught up to the back of the train now as well. We should have hopefully one more lap of safety car action, and then we can get racing again. But yeah, keep an eye on see what Christian does here, whether he stays on these mediums. It does 22 laps, Gareth. I mean, doable, but not pleasant, you could say.
Yeah, I wouldn't like to be on those tyres. Everyone deciding to stick out, but let's go on board with the man that we're questioning whether he will go into the pits. He does not, so he wants to get himself through the field a little bit, which might not be a bad thing on his side, just to, well, get action. We know how quick he is, and he's made some incredible overtakes so far as well. But and crucially, he's in front of Kenny Tamas as well, who is the championship leader.
Yeah, he is. It'd be interesting to see how he negotiates this race now. Obviously, being a little bit further back from where he's used to, you could argue, being so far down at the moment. So, yeah, it's the safety car sort of thrown up a cat amongst pigeons, Gareth, with everything that was going on. It was going relatively straightforward, even though it was a bit hectic. But you know as well as I do, these races, anything can literally happen. We've had a safety car already on lap 6, so we'll see what happens. But I'm hoping as everyone's caught up to the back of the queue now, we should get racing on the beginning of lap 9.
Yeah, we should. Well, hopefully we will do. On that subject, let's go on board with Hasif, who's had a relatively entertaining first half of, well, this I can't even say first half, first stint of this race, and he's into P2 currently. If we have a look at changing positions, he's up 3 places. Safety car is in this lap. Eduardo up 10 places. Christian Sendel down 10, but don't forget he has pitted. Let's go back to this screen and let's see whether Varga actually pulls away, whether he goes early or late. I mean, if you were in his shoes, what would you do?
I'd go as early as possible, Gareth, to try and create that gap to the drivers around. But I'm not very good at driver, Gareth, and I think I should leave it up to the pros here. But we'll see what happens. Obviously, he's trying to try and catch them out the best he can, try and catch them when he's accelerating. Obviously, they're braking at one point, but oh, and that's a spin for Hasith, and there's a huge gap that's formed, Gareth, and Varga was in his own world there. I don't know what happened to Hasith, but he spun round and he's down to 9th place. No idea what was going on there. And our race leader has over 2 seconds of a lead starting lap 9.
No idea what Hasif was thinking, but put the power. It looked like he was trying to be the safety car himself, or he was the leader of it all. Unsure, put the power down too early and gone. Baton, though, has flown away. Exactly what he needs to do. Lethal Sniper is all over the back of Netcruise as well. We could see something happening. Victor Santana pulling away a little bit from this battle. And if we go on board with Netcruise as he come down this back straight, there's some overtaking in the background. Robbie Van getting past Christian as well. But there is no overtaking from Sniper, Netcruise. And Netcruise is actually going up the inside of Andreas Loft. That was very, very deep in there for the Aston Martin driver, but managing to make the move stick. But he's going to be under pressure, or is he? Because I think Sniper is all over the back of Loft.
Yeah, I think it's more Sniper more than anything coming into turn 9 here. Gareth's going to have to go the long way around. He's been hung out to dry there. Will not get through on this occasion. But Netcruise, that was a late lunge from him and somehow kept that car in a straight line and managed to continue round on that corner. But there's someone gone wide there. I think it's the Mercedes of Andreas Loft there. Luckily keeps it in a straight line, and the Sniper having to take avoidant action there at one point, but luckily they're all still pointing in a straight line and they'll continue going. But great fighting away for P3 at the moment, Gareth.
Yeah, P3 is hotting up. Victor Santana is probably thankful for that as well, so he can just try and eke out that gap a little bit more. But Sniper and Loft both going wide out the exit of turn 1. Not ideal for them or their tyres, to be honest. But Christian Sendel is only, what, 3, maybe 4 seconds behind Sniper. And don't forget the 2 different strategies that they've got going on at the moment. As that's KRG overtaking Robbie Van, or is it? Because it's all swapping back over again and KRG dropping another position.
Yeah, Robbie Van dives up the inside coming to turn number 5 there, Gareth. A great move, surprise move. A few drivers have done that in this race because you can almost go 2-3 wide through there. But we'll see whether Robbie can hold that position now. But also, Augustin has got through into P12 as well. More yellow flags. I think that's for Christian Lebanov in the background as well. But no moves just yet in this duel for P7. But both of Ferraris now together in 6th and 7th. And Eduardo needs to pick up the pace slightly because he's under pressure here from quite a few drivers.
Yeah, a lot of drivers. He's really struggling a little bit right now, is Eduardo, but he's holding back Christian Sendel, which is possibly good news for the leaders at the moment. The DRS sign has popped open, so they could get a few more overtakes happening at the moment. And here comes Fedor, but he just doesn't have the straight line speed at the moment. And I think it's time to go on board with the battle for P4 now, because Andreas Loff has lost Net Cruz and Vega has dropped away from this as well. But I can't imagine it'll be long before Sniper gets the move done on the Mercedes driver.
Yeah, we've seen how clinical Sniper has been in this race, and I'm sure we'll see more clinical moves from him. The car ahead has not got DRS, and he'll have to go around the outside. Said he goes to the inside. Can he hang it around the outside through the chicane? He's going to try his best. There's a whisker between them, but somehow the Alfa Romeo gets through their yellow flags, and that's someone else's. Just Christian Sendel has made a mistake. He's actually, Gareth, he's lost a few places there, down to 12th for him. But Lethal Sniper holds P4 for now, and he'll charge now for P3 and the top 2.
Yeah, Christian trying to make a move back on KRG. Oh, sorry, KRG making a move on Christian Sendel. So what's happened to Christian Sendel? Is there front wing damage? There is, as Barros has retired from the session as well. But Christian Sendel, front end plate damage. He's in a world of pain, and he really needs another safety car. And his strategy to go on a set of mediums has not worked out for him.
No, it hasn't. He pulls into the pits and almost Goji almost crashed into the back of Tomas and all that frantic action, but it's really heated up all of a sudden near the back of the grid, and Christian Sendel, as he pulls in the pits in a set of mediums and a new front wing for that Red Bull car. It'll be a long way back for him now.
Yeah, Sniper's caught back up to Net Cruz for the battle for P3 now. He is bringing Andreas Loff along, but I don't think it will be long before Sniper gets past. But they are catching Santana as well. That's the crucial thing, and I think that could save Net Cruz for a lap.
Yes, I think so. But Gareth, in the background, Eduardo's lost 2 places coming into turn number 6 there to Kirei G and Augustin, and it could be another place with Tomas not far behind as well. Doesn't have to pit Tomas, he can go till the end in the McLaren, but I don't think he's close enough to make a move on the Ferrari man coming into turn number 9 here. But frantic action just outside the top 10, and it's really heating up for those last points paying positions on lap 12 of 29. And yeah, it feels like we've done far more laps than that, but it's been hectic to say the least. We're not even at the halfway stage.
Definitely, it has been incredible stuff so far. And Tamas getting close, but like you mentioned, I think he's just a bit too far off Eduardo at the moment. Let's go back up to the battle for P. But it's now battle for P2 because Net Cruz has closed in on Santana. Alfa Romeo is doing a cracking job, 1st and 4th now. Great recovery drive for Sniper after his earlier incident, but Net Cruz seems to struggle in Sector 1, and it could be problematic time for the Aston Martin driver because this man is all over the back of him. Is there going to be DRS? There's a mistake as well from the Aston Martin driver. There is DRS. He tries to go defensive, but it's very late. Here comes Sniper. Sniper's made the move done, and the Scotsman's going to have to settle for P4 for the time being, as he's hanging it around the outside. Is the Aston Martin driver? He's really trying at the moment.
Yeah, there's contact on the exit of 7 there. Felt Net Cruz didn't have enough space, and Lethal Sniper closed the door on him a little bit there, so he'll try and get him back now. But that duel was great coming down the pit straight. But I think Nick Cruz might be a little bit annoyed with that move from the Alpha, and he'll try and get him back next time around. But now both are closing on Victor Santana here, while our race leader is almost checked out, Gareth, 4 seconds ahead of second place.
Oh, it's tight from P6 back as well. It could separate them with a piece of paper, I think, at one stage as they rounded turn 12. It's still pretty tight. Vega holding up Augustin in P10 there. Christian Sendel 21 seconds behind in P16. He's got a lot of work and probably praying for a safety car right now. Haas of Robbie Van trying to get close to the back of Hassif, but it's not happening. Unai Vega dropping a little wide out of the exit of turn 1 and may have cost him a little bit of time there. But let's go. I don't really want to go to the leaders because I don't think there's going to be an overtake, but Robbie Van all over the back. This is a massive battle for P6.
It is huge, and there we go. Hassif goes to the left on Fedor. Can he get through? But watch out for the Haas in the background. They're going to go 3 wide into the braking zone here. Who's going to come out on top? It looks like that on the Mercedes in the background misses the braking zone, clashes into the Haas, and the Haas hits the Alpine. The Alpine is round. McLaren and the Aston Martin have to take avoiding action to go straight on at turn 7. We've got penalties dotted across the grid here, Gareth, and I think that's going to be a huge steals and curry after the race there for all that action.
That was mental. I'm not sure. I think I think it was Augustin that just lost. Just outbroke himself, cost him massively, and cost everyone else even more. Let's go on board with K-Ray G as it's still battle. It's still really close here.
Yeah, it is. It's crazy, even with that contact there and everyone being pinged around on a pit like a pinball machine. They somehow still, you can barely separate them as they come through to start to lap 15 here. And the Aston Martin of K-Ray G trying to get past Fedor here. They're side by side. Can he go around the outside of turn 1? Yes, he does before they even get to the braking zone. Great move from the Aston. We barely see any moves through turn 1, and we've seen one there. But in the background, Tomas going side by side with Goji as well is all kicking off, Gareth.
It's massive at the moment. I think, is Sniper going to get a move done on... I think he is. So let's go on board with that one. Here he comes up the inside of Victor Santana into P2. Finally getting the move done on the Red Bull driver. And now he can try and hound or hunt his teammate. But will Santana have the pace? Look at that script. That is just monumental for Botond. He is doing a fantastic job right now. But here comes Victor Santana. I think he knows that race is run for him there. Let's look at it from a position from Tamas is lost. Where's Tamas gone?
He's dropped it at the chicane, Gareth. Didn't see what happened, but he's got no front wing on that car. So unfortunately, I missed what happened for him, but that'll be a 3rd pit stop for the McLaren man, and it's gone from bad to worse for him.
It has been a weird old race here in ORL Tier 2. But I'm sticking on board with Eduardo as he tries to make a move on Dmitry Pantalev, but it's just not happening at the moment for him. As Hassif, who's had that, he was the one that was leading that train, and into the pits for Hassif he goes, as there's also a pit for Robbie Van as well. But yeah, Hassif lost out majorly from that incident at the first major chicane, which is turn 6 and 7.
Yeah, really unfortunate for him, as we've got another move for the front net boys, Gareth. Santana gets back at Lethal Sniper here, and he's got DRS, so we'll get back to what you were saying in a second. But yeah, the Red Bull driver is trying to get back at Lethal Sniper here into the braking zone of 6 and 7, but can't make his way through. And in the background, Nick Cruz and Andres Loff have got involved with the fight once again for P2.
Yeah, this battling is all only doing Varga Botond the world of good. He's 4.2 seconds in front. I think there could be enough time for a double stack on that Alfa Romeo as well. That's the... I wouldn't want to risk it personally, but that is the quality that they've got at the moment here at Abu Dhabi. Just seeing where could any problems come. I don't know if there is going to be any problems. Robbie Van coming out onto a set of mediums, as Hassif did go into the pits as well. So I think we're going to see a few drivers come into the pits now, and I think one of those being Sniper.
Yep, pulls into the pits. The first man who hadn't pitted in that first front runner after the safety car, Gareth. So he pits on lap, or beginning of 17. Will that start a chain reaction for the rest of the drivers? 12 laps remaining of this Grand Prix. Hopefully he doesn't make a mistake coming through the unusual pit lane we do have here in Abu Dhabi. All yellow flags in the background.
Dimitri.
I think this Dimitri's made a mistake.
Yeah, he's I think that's turn. That's an odd place to lose it. At turn 2, well, no, at exit of turn 1, he's now got Christian Sendel all over the back of him. This could be, and he's lost it again.
Oh dear. Has he got damage to that front wing? Maybe that's why. Well, it's weird. If he's spinning up the rears, it shouldn't be related to that front wing. I just can't see from the camera angle I've got. No, full front wing for him, but yeah, he needs to cool those tyres down ASAP, Gareth. Otherwise, it's going to be a drift fest for him.
It's going to be difficult for him to get back to the pit lane with it as it is. Let's don't want to compound his misery, but yeah, he's gone again, and I think he is not having the best of it, unfortunately. Back to Net Cruise into the pits. Yeah, they are popping into the pits like mad, but Batond is staying out. This is going to be interesting. Let's go on board with Sniper and see if how powerful the undercut is here as he rounds through the final sector into the final corner. He comes now. There is 2 drivers not to pit, and that's Goji and K-Ray, and Eduardo yet to pit as well. Here comes Sniper. He pops himself through turn 1. How is he going to react if surely he's passed Santana in that pit lane?
Yeah, he made a mistake. Santana, he lost the back end slightly, hopping over the curbs in the pit lane, Gareth. So Santana, unfortunately, I don't think that would have changed things anyway, with the gap that's formed between himself and Lethal Sniper, over 2 seconds. So the undercut worked a treat there for our P5 man, and now he's chasing down Eduardo, who should be coming in the pits shortly. Well, Goji, who pitted in the safety car, as well as Kirei G, can both go to the end technically. Kirei G might not enjoy the tyres, but as he oozes the place actually to Goji there, coming up the inside through up to turn 9, but Goji can go to the end here. So keep an eye on him. Maybe he might not be able to hold the guys further back on fresh tyres, but definitely in for a good haul of points here.
Go on board with Robbie Van as he makes a move on Fedot down turn 8 into turn 9, and it's pretty simple for the Haas car, well, the Haas driver I should say, and he's up into P11 just outside the point scoring position. In the pits is Dmitry Pantalev, not having the best of races unfortunately for him, and with those spins I'm not surprised. Let's go on board as should it be Sniper? Let's see how close he is to his teammate at the exit of the pit lane, because I think it's going to be close. I think Sniper may have done an incredible undercut, but Batond has those fresher tyres, and there is a car between the 2 of them. So Sniper has gained 3 seconds from that pit stop phase.
Yeah, I was just about to mention he was roughly 4 seconds pre-pit stops and everything. All the action was happening as we've got Vegas retired down in 14th. I think he's retired in the pit lane there, but Lethal Sniper now 1.3 behind his teammate. He's nailed the first part of his race and now is fighting away and trying to catch up with the teammate, both on fresh medium tyres, and within a lap Lethal Sniper, give Varga a lap. Hopefully those tyres heat up then, but it's a race down. I think it is between these 2 now, Gareth. Second and third, fighting for the race win overall. He's pitted once. I don't know whether it's annoying. I can't see from my camera. Well, I'll have a look at the detail in a second, but huge crash. Yeah, real disappointing for him now as both the cars come through turn 6 there, but yeah, Net Cruz and is that damage to the front wing of the Ferrari? I can't tell from the angle I've got. No, both have still got full front wings, but yeah, that's them out of it. And Christian Sindel now, Gareth, with the guys ahead of him on penalties, I mean, he could be on for a podium place here.
Yeah, he just has to push that little bit more to get up to Andreas Loff. But don't forget, Andreas Loff is now 1.9 seconds behind Victor Santana. Goji has been passed pretty easily by Varga. I know he can go to the end on those. I just wouldn't recommend it because he's going to be eaten up as things stand. It is very, very, I don't want to say questionable, but yeah, he's going to get sniper past him very, very soon.
Yeah, interestingly though, Goji's been in the pits twice, Gareth. It could have been under the safety car when he pitted twice, maybe. I'm not sure, doesn't tell me when he pitted, but yeah, I mean, he's in a good place now, but like you said, he will be eaten up very quickly by the guys around him on fresh tyres. You know, he's hoping on penalties and maybe people changing their moves, but what a late move from Lethal Sniper there. I think Goji knew it was coming, but yeah, he moves up to P2 now, 2.3 seconds, but first and second. But yeah, Goji it could be in a world of pain here, and he might be falling down the grid quicker than he expects.
Net Cruz trying to get to Christian Sendel. There is a massive tyre life difference between the two of them, so Net Cruz could be able to do something here. There's a yellow flag somewhere on track, and I'm not 100% sure where that is or who that is for. Could be what maybe Dimitri. Yeah, he's not having the best of lucks, is he, tonight, Dimitri?
No, he's not. As Robbie and Fedor side by side through 9, and I think that's Fedor getting past, but watch out for Robbie. Can go around the outside of 12. Surely not. No, you don't make a move through there. Tries his best, but that wasn't going to work. But yeah, unfortunately, Dimitri's having a real horrid time this evening, and hopefully come back stronger next week. But Gav, a great duel from 10th down to 13th here. You've had these lots of little small trains that have formed, and they've given us a great show this evening.
Yeah, it's pockets of action, and that is incredible to see. Net Cruz getting closer to Christian Sendel. Christian Sendel's dropping away from Andreas Loff, so podium is slipping away from him. Hand over foot at the moment. Lethal Sniper has dropped 3.2 seconds to his teammate. It is all looking rosy for Varga Botond right now. Let's go on board with Victor Santana, and that was a wonderful view. How close he got to the Alpha Tauri. Just ahead of that is Sniper as well, so interestingly enough, second place isn't off the cards for Santana just yet.
No, it's really not. He's got 3 seconds obviously on his head, but he's definitely still there. Plenty of time to overtake and then create a gap, but that might be harder than expected. Obviously, how quickly the Sniper has been in this race, but further down, Gareth, there's plenty more action for that 10th place fight. They're side by side, they're dueling away non-stop.
This is incredible stuff from these guys. Eduardo is 4 seconds up the road, keeping to the back of Hassif right now. But this is some incredible battling with these 4 drivers. And yeah, fair play to them, giving us a lot of action right now. Victor is within a second of Sniper, but I can't take my eyes off this battle. Net Cruz is also close to Sendel. That's definitely one to keep an eye on. But as they come into turn 1, is there going to be a positional change for the final point? And that is what it is. It's a final point, and these guys are battling away like it's for the lead.
Yeah, it's great to see, isn't it? And unfortunately, Kiro G is on 9 seconds, so it's a 3-way fight, really. But he wants to get involved, wants to get some screen time, I think, here in this race. But here we go, on to the pit straight, with a second straight down towards turn number 6. Can Robbie hold off Fedor here? I don't think he's going to be able to. DRS wide open, he up the inside he goes and makes that move stick before he gets into the braking zone. But can Robbie do anything into turn 9 here? Or maybe even Augustine or QAG get involved with the fight for P10 here?
Netcruz getting past Sendel. Oh, that's battling away. But at the moment, can Robbie Van do anything? He's looking, he's trying, he's pushing everything he can. He's going around the outside of turn 9. And it's... Has it been made? I don't think it has. I think it has, actually. Fedor having to give up the position. Will he dart up the inside of turn 11? He does not. Sorry, turn 12. And the positional for points has changed yet again. But my goodness, what are we witnessing in this low point scoring position right now?
Yeah, great racing, especially Gareth around the outside of 9. It's very difficult to hold that car, not lose it through there, keep the momentum up, and he did through turn 9 and held it just about there. But he needs to close that 2.1 second gap to Eduardo here to try and hold off these guys. If he can get into DRS range, he might just be able to survive here, but it's so difficult, as we've already seen in this race. But back up the top, Gareth, I think Victor Santana, no, he's not close enough to Lethal Sniper here, but Lethal Sniper's in trouble here, Gareth. He's lost more time to the race leader again, over a second in the last 2 or 3 laps.
Could he be saving ERS? Not 100% sure, but let's go on board with Santana as he comes into turn 9. He has a little look, and I think it's compromised him a little bit as he heads through turn 9 and had to... maybe he thought he was going to hit the back end of the Alpha. But Eduardo picking up a 3-second time penalty is going to cost him points. It could cost him a lot of points. He's 1.6 seconds in front of Van. It could cost him the final 2 places. It's that big of a deal for him right now. Looking at Netcruz, he's again all over the back of the other Red Bull driver. And I think Robbie Van has had a mistake.
Yep, 360 spin from Robbie there. Somehow keeps the car pointing straight, but I didn't see what happened, whether it was contact or making a mistake on the curb there. Eduardo on this current lap gas had straight line turn 7, which cost him that 3 seconds. So more yellow flags as Andres Loft gets past Santana, as does Goji. So Victor Santana's made a mistake, Gareth. He's going to get passed by his teammate as well in all this. So Santana, who had a potential podium on the cars, is now that's written off the cars, and he'll get points, but not what he expected after his good run in the second stage of this race.
Crazy stuff. I think there's going to be more battles between Christian Sendel and Netcruz. Look at that, all the way to the inside of the track, and there's... Oh, goodness me. That could have ended nastily, and Netcruz gets the position, but Christian Sendel nearly off the track and had to take evasive action, and now he's going to get passed by his teammate, and Netcruz, yellow flags again, and I think maybe for Pantalev. I'm not 100% sure, but this has been an incident-packed race.
Yep, I'd hate to be in the stewards box after this one, Gareth, because their inbox is going to be filled to the brim, I think, with some of the incidents we've had this evening, and that one on the current lap could be one of them. But back to the race leader, Rotonda just checked out, Gareth, 4.5 seconds. The teammate is nowhere near that, and the gap is only going up in this race. Andreas Loft trying to close that gap down, but he's got a penalty hanging over his head. Santana gets a penalty trying to get past his teammate in all that as well, but he's in the pit actually as well, so set soft for the Red Bull driver, and he'll lose another 2 places to Augustine and Fedor in all that action as well.
Maybe this is tactical for him. Maybe he realised that after that spin it just wasn't to be, and he's going to try and hound his way through the field down to P12 for the time being. And he's really pushing, put that back end stepping out as he comes out of the pit lane. Not ideal, but he's going to push. He's got that penalty, as 2 sets of penalties to his name as well, don't forget. So problems for him. Netcruz 3.2 seconds behind Goji. Goji is on for a really good race as things stand. Hassif with a 3-second time penalty. Fedor, is he just overtaking Augustine? He has, or is it defensive from Augustine?
I believe defensive, Gareth. Is on board with both of them, and Augustine's trying his best to get by the Alpha Tauri here. Augustine, unfortunately, is on older tyres, so he's struggling a little bit here in the last stage. You've only got 3.5 laps left of this race here, both within the points, and that fight they had earlier has calmed down slightly, but these two still hammer and tong the last couple of laps here. We're now coming down to the last stages of this race. Can't see too much changing, Gareth, but you just don't know with these drivers sometimes.
Yeah, we'll keep a close eye on some of these, but Fedor looks like he's trying to pull away from Augustin a little bit now. Could be a good position for him to be in. Let's see, position 12, which is Victor, who's getting close to the Key-Ray G right now, and it's the Red Bull driver is on a mission.
Yeah, mission to try and save his race. I don't think he's going to get 10th place. He's got the penalties hanging over him as well, and I don't think he'll even do it on track, actually, Gareth. But we'll see an overtake, hopefully, from him. It should be straightforward, getting past Kira G. Different tyre strategies, different race, and Dimitri Pantaleev gets another penalty, unfortunately, to add to his woes this evening. But should be a straightforward move. He goes to the outside, actually, Gareth. He goes the long way around past the Aston Martin there, wheel on the curb, but into the braking zone he goes, and he takes P11 off Kira G, and unfortunately won't really mean anything with no points for it. But at the end of the season, Gareth, finishing 11th rather than 12th could mean something, so we'll have to see where that all pans out. But further down, everyone's spread out slightly, Gareth, unfortunately, as we start the penultimate lap here. But I think Hesith could fight with Christian Sendel with the final 2 laps here as well.
Well, with Christian Sendel just leaving the lobby, that is not ideal timing for the Red Bull driver. Wow. I'm surprised the game didn't dart his Red Bull into the pits either. Victor Santana, I think, has made a mistake. No front wing for the Red Bull driver. I wonder what has happened there. He's going to have to go into the... Not ideal for Victor at all. And into the pit... Well, that's an interesting one. Here, then Hassif then past the ghost car of Christian Sendel, and not... Well, it should be done and dusted for Hassif. He should be able to pull away that gap from the AI car, but we'll wait and see. 6.1 seconds then between the 2 Alpha cars. Sniper really looking after his tyres right now.
Yeah, I think he's just chilled out, Gareth. I think I don't know whether there's damage to that car. I can't see from my angles, but he's just not been up there since that frantic start he had, and he went to the back of the grid and jumped back up again. And he's been fantastic when he's been overtaken, but unfortunately in the last stages of this race, as Eduardo gets a 10-second penalty for cutting corners. That's a big old penalty. But yeah, he's not really been on the pace since he gained 2nd place. So unfortunately for him, he's well, you know, I'm sure he'd be happy with 2nd, but his teammate holding the fort here in 1st place and running away with it. Yeah,
they both look like they had some decent pace about them. Christian Sendel's AI has popped into the pit, so it's even worse for him. And the Red Bull team, I hate it when the game decides to do that, and it's just ruined his race even more. I don't think he's going to get points out of this at all, which is such frustrations for Christian Sendel. But it's been one of those races. Everyone now has spaced out, but Varga Botand, through everything, has done an incredible job. 6.9 seconds, about 7 seconds to his teammate. Andreas Loff is doing a good job, and he's going to get that final podium position, I believe. Goji being passed by Netcruise, but you could see that Netcruise's incident at turn 5 has cost him. But here he is, Varga Botand. He has just done whatever he needed to do. He stayed out of trouble and just raced his heart out. He has done a phenomenal job, and the Alfa Romeo driver takes victory here in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, and crashes in fantastic fashion at the end there, Gareth. His teammate tries to do the same thing, but unfortunately doesn't. But great 1-2 for Alfa. Varga Botand just did everything he needed to have to do a safety car restart. I think other things were in play to help him out. There, Hassith making a mistake off the restart, but you can't blame him. Did everything he could, and gets a race win here in Abu Dhabi. Great race from him, and an exciting race. Some controversial moments as well. So the Steelers, like I've said, will be busy, but for us in the box, Gareth, that was a great race.
Yeah, definitely. Plenty of action happening here, and waiting for the drivers just to cross the line on lap, obviously, just to finish the race. And I'm not 100% sure where Dimitri is. He's coming through the final sector now. He'll get some screen time as he comes into the hotel section, and gutting for Christian Sendel. And there's a spin for him as well underneath the hotel. I wonder if he's not had the best of grips tonight, unfortunately, for Dimitri, but he's gonna finish this lap hopefully within 1 minute 44. But I would like your driver of the day, please, Ollie.
Driver of the day, I think I'd have to give it to the race leader, Gareth. Did everything he could ahead of him. Could argue giving it to Sniper as well after his overtaking escapades. They've given it to Goji actually. I'll have to look quickly at the positional changes after that, Gareth, because it was hectic to say the say the least in that race. Just non-stop action throughout the whole race. Have a quick look at the positional changes as we get to that screen. So Goji went from 15 to P5. It's not bad for him, but yeah, I think I'm gonna have to give it to our race leader, Gareth. Fourth to first, did everything he needed to do. Yeah, I'm going for first place.
And there we have it then. I'm probably going to give it to you as well. Goji did have a great race, a runner-up on that one. But Baton takes victory with his teammate alongside him. And Andreas Loff rounding out the podium scorers. In fourth place was Necruz, fifth going to Goji, Hassif in sixth, seventh to Fedor, Robbie Van in eighth, ninth to Augustin, and Tamas getting points in the end after a torrid race for the McLaren driver. Christian Sendel, Kirei G, Eduardo and Dimitri are the finishers, with Victor, Santana, Vega, Alberto Barros, Christian and Lewis Piper all retiring from this race. What a crazy Abu Dhabi Grand Prix that we've had here, Ollie. You know what? It's action-packed. The stewards are going to have a lot of work to do, but it was a good one, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. We had some great overtaking, side-by-side action throughout the whole race, really, Gareth. And gave us a treat, really, for us watching and those who are tuned in on YouTube as well. So, yeah, it was for my first experience here in ORL, it was, yeah, brilliant. So, yeah, hopefully come back next week for another action-packed Grand Prix.
And that is not it as well. We, had loads of action and, yeah, crazy to see, crazy to just view, and I'm sure there will be frustrations for some of the camp, but Baton will be absolutely over the moon with his race victory here tonight, and I think Alfa Romeo have stormed away with the constructors because of this as well. It'll be interesting to see how the constructors stand at the end of this. But thank you, Ollie, for coming to join me in this one, and thank you for everyone that has watched. Thank you for the drivers. It's been an entertaining race, and I'll tell you what, let's remember it for the good that we had from it. But for now, from Ollie and I, thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.